Between 1921 and 1924, Japan built its last second-class destroyers to follow the Momis and parallel the No. 1, later Kamikaze, class first-class destroyers. These were the 920-ton Wakatake class. Originally 13 had been planned, numbers 2 through 26. Remember, second-class destroyers, these guys, got even numbers, while first-class destroyers, the later renamed Kamikazes, got odd numbers. But even as they were being started, the Washington Treaty was signed. At a stroke, Japan couldn't build any more battleships to compete with the U.S. Smaller ships would have to make up the difference. Suddenly, Japan didn't dare have anything second-rate, even if its industrial capacity could have supported it, which it couldn't. So overworked was its capacity that, like the previous Momis, several had to use imported British or Swiss turbines. Like the wartime USDEs, supply simply couldn't keep up with demand. And this was peacetime. That's why I say the Japanese won the Washington Treaty. Anyway, clearly better was needed, so the 4 that hadn't been started yet were canceled. Of the 9 completed, like their contemporaries, they were all given proper names August 1st, 1928, and were decisively obsolete by World War II. One was converted into a patrol boat. The others had been planned to also, but the shipyard space just wasn't available. Like their contemporaries, they mostly escorted convoys around the home waters and down the East China, South China Sea, East Indies route. Want to guess what fate befell most of them? Wakatake, originally destroyer number 2, was started December 13th, 1921, and was completed September 30th, 1922. Kuretake, originally destroyer 4, was started March 15th, 1922, and was completed December 21st, 1922. Sanai, originally destroyer 6, was started April 5th, 1922, and was completed November 5th, 1923. Sawarabi, originally destroyer 8, was started November 20th, 1922, and was completed July 24th, 1924. Asageo, originally destroyer 10, was started March 14th, 1922, and was completed May 10th, 1923. Yugeo, originally destroyer 12, was started May 15th, 1922, and was completed May 31st, 1924. Destroyer 14 was canceled. Fuyo, originally destroyer 16, was started February 16th, 1922, and was completed March 16th, 1923. Kurakaya, originally destroyer 18, was started May 16th, 1922, and was completed August 20th, 1923. Destroyers 20, 22, 24, and 26 were also canceled before even being started. Main armament was again 3 single open-mount 120mm 45 caliber guns, one on the forecastle, one between the funnels, one at the stern. Torpedo armament was again 2 twin 533mm tubes, one between the forecastle and bridge, the other between the rear funnel and rear gun. Again, they could carry 20 mines and had mine-sweeping gear. Propulsion was again 3 boilers, 2 in the forward room, 1 in the rear, venting to 2 funnels. These provided steam to the 2 turbines, each running a propeller that produced 21,500 horsepower for a top speed of 35 knots. They had 1 rudder. Modifications were about what you'd expect. In 1938, they had ballast added to lower their metacentric height at the cost of lowering their speed to 31 knots. In 1940, Yugeo was converted into Patrol Boat 46. The rear boiler was removed to allow more fuel to be carried, dropping her speed to 18 knots. The midship 120mm gun and the torpedo tubes were removed, as were the mines and mine-sweeping gear. Sonar and 60 depth charges were added. Her weight fell to 930 tons. In 1941 through 1942, the others also had their midship 120mm gun, torpedoes, mines, and mine-sweeping gear removed. In exchange, they received sonar and 48 depth charges. Sawarabi was sunk in a storm in the Formosa Strait December 5, 1932. Sanai was sunk November 18, 1943 in the Celebes Sea by the submarine Bluefish. Fuyo was sunk near Manila December 20, 1943 by the submarine Puffer. Wakatake was sunk March 30, 1944 north of Palau by carrier aircraft. Kurakaya was sunk May 5, 1944 near Luzon by the submarine Cod. Patrol Boat 46 was sunk near Yokosuka November 10, 1944 by the submarine Greenling. Remember everyone, there are submarines and there are targets. Kuratake was sunk December 30th, 1944, southeast of Formosa by the submarine Razorback. Asageo was back at Japan serving as a tender when on August 22, 1945, she hit a mine. Post-war, the flooded and unmovable hulk was salvaged and scrapped.